AM, Johnstown, Denver.
My friends, there's not enough obscenity on the air. So let's get obscene right at the start of the show. I mean, really obscene. Are you ready for it? Because this is Riell Truth, and I'm Howard Riell. Let's talk obscenity. Item from splinternews.com. Jeff Bezos is the richest person in the world with a personal net worth of $108 billion. In 2017, Bezos' company, the internet retail giant Amazon, reportedly took in $5.6 billion in U.S. profits. So how much did Amazon pay in income tax on that bounty? Hang on, we're getting some news. What's this? Amazon effectively paid $0 in federal income taxes in 2017. Unquote. My friends, as obscenity goes, doesn't get much more obscene than that. Let me run the numbers for you again. $5.6 billion in profits here in the U.S., $0 paid in federal income tax. Now, my friends, if you are scratching your heads and wondering, how could that happen? Allow me to welcome you to the United States. Nice to have you here. Where massive corporations always get a truckload of accounting tricks that enable them to pay less, much less, sometimes none at all of their fair share. You remember a couple of years ago, the news came out that GE had similarly earned billions of dollars. Not only did they pay no tax, but they had a $150 million tax credit. In other words, a refund. So the politicians can yammer all they want. They can issue press releases and then go on TV and write op-eds in the Times, and none of that matters as long as the extreme wealthy, whether they're individuals or corporations, as long as they are allowed to skip on their rightful tax obligation to this country. Now, I know getting Amazon to cough up tax money is not going to solve our financial problems. We've been too stupid for too long and gotten into too much trouble to be taken out of our problems that easily. But for a company to make almost $6 billion in profits, not sales, profits, and pay not a penny in tax, I would say that's obscene. In fact, I would go even further. I would say it's a crime. It's Tuesday, and it's Riell Truth, and we'll be right back.
This is Michael. Please call 1-800-05-645 to make the donation or send a check for money in PO Box 1750, Johnstown, Colorado 80534. PO Box 1750, Johnstown, Colorado 80534. Help us keep voice freedom on the air. Thank you. Choice City Electric and Fort Collins reminds listeners, out of sight should not mean out of mind. Let's remember our brave men and women in the military by sending care packages to them while they are away. You need not have a specific soldier in mind to help. Just call your local veterans organization. This message is from Choice City Electric in Fort Collins, your electrical and retrofit specialist. Visit them online or call 970-493-4077. That's 970-493-4077.
Beloved, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirit, whether they are God, because many false prophets have gone into the world. By this you will know the Spirit of God. Every spirit that confesses that Yeshua, Jesus, has come in the flesh is of God, and every spirit that does not
And welcome back to Riell Truth, my friends. I am Howard Riell. If you're wondering why I'm so dolled up today, it's because as soon as the show is over, I'm going to speak at a local school where students are no doubt counting the seconds until I arrive and begin rewarding them for their studies with immense wisdom that can be culled only after years and years and decades and I don't mean to age myself, but I'll be going to speak at a local school afterwards. Right now, let's talk DACA. I've got Ann Coulter on the Howie Carr Show, and she is the one who really started this whole immigration debate with her book, Adios America, which was read by a guy named Trump, who decided that should be the flashpoint of his campaign for president. In fact, that's what got him elected. Here's Ann Coulter and Howie Carr. My friends, as usual, as always, we've got technical issues here. Let's get through them. Hang on. You know, one day I will make peace with technology, but it's not going to be any day soon. Here we go. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, the referendum questions are fine, but keeping people with mental disease under stronger wraps is also a good idea. There's lots to talk about on this topic. Perhaps we'll get to it, and perhaps we won't. We'll take a break. We'll come back. Riell Truth, the Tuesday edition of Riell Truth, continues.
And the Word became flesh and dwelt among us, and we beheld his glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. John bore witness of him and cried out, saying, This was he of whom I said, He who comes after me is preferred before me, for he was before me. The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 14 and 15. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just power from the consent of the governed. This is the America's News Network. Chaplain Collins LLC salutes our emergency first responders for their professionalism, commitment, and bravery. They're willing to put their lives on the line for us with little or no thanks. So let's all take the time to thank our first responders for all they do for us. Also thanking our veterans for the sacrifice they made for our freedom. This message is from Chaplain Collins LLC, the two locations in Nicker and Fort Collins, serving the community for over 13 years. Visit them online at chapelcollins.com. Bigelow's Restaurant in Denver reminds us that over 750,000 children were reported missing last year. Over 58,000 of these were abducted by non-family members. Keep an eye out for youngsters at play, and if you see anything suspicious, contact the authorities immediately. This message from Bigelow's Restaurant in Denver is not only the best Italian Mexican convenience, still good care. Give them a call at 303-757-5166. 303-757-5166. Bigelow.
All right, my friends, welcome back. The person who's been behind the last, 10 presidential campaigns, a guy named Roger Stone. You hear his name, you hear his voice on this show frequently. He recently spoke at Oxford University, at Oxford Union, and as he has been in the past, a partner of Paul Manafort, who is in the news. He's being attacked by the Justice Department for alleged Russia ties and collusion and what have you. I think it's especially timely to listen in on what Roger Stone had to say to the students and faculty at Oxford, and maybe we can glean a few insights about what the hell is going on around here. Here's Roger Stone at Oxford Union. And thank God he isn't. Now, we're going to take a break. I'm finding what Roger is saying so important and so interesting that we're going to come back to Roger Stone, speaking again at Oxford Union, about presidents he's known, conspiracies he's investigated, and the future of the United States of America. We'll be back.
Animal House Taxidermy in Brighton would like to take this time to say thank you to all the brave men and women in our armed forces who serve our country. Business owners, consider hiring veterans our most dependable resource. And to those heroes back home proficient abroad, know that your dedication, selflessness, and courage are appreciated. May God bless America. This message is from Animal House Taxidermy in Brighton, proud to salute the fighting forces of our country. Now this is simply a con that you can recently find crucial and happening. Large. He confessed and did not deny and said, I am not the Messiah. And they asked him, what then? Are you Elijah? He said, I am not. Are you the prophet? And he answered, no. The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 19 through 21. No one anywhere is more noble, righteous, courageous than these brave men and women put the bill for our freedom every day. I don't know what church to let them know that they are in our heart and our prayers and our thoughts. This message is from the Newsweek. That's your 24-hour Walmart Supercenter on Highway 287 out here. They're on the air because they care. You're going to modern reminder of the drug problem is well done. We know our kids will be approached at our meeting. We want to applaud the youngsters in our community who have had the strength to take no to drugs. They provide examples to their peers and families to be the best they can be. That's from the Little Locker plant located at 366 Grand Street in Louisville. Serving our area since 1943, specializing in natural life HB and custom process. All for 3688 2240. That's 3688 2240. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America.
All right, guys, we are back. We're listening to Roger Stone, who recently gave a speech at Oxford Union in which he's, well, keep listening.
He's a force of nature. He is a natural phenomena. He has his own leadership style. If that style gets you 200 more points in the stock market and 2 million new jobs, well, I like it. But the seeds of this entire narrative that the president is mentally unbalanced, which I believe to be manifestly untrue based on all evidence, both anecdotal, personal, and now medical, is based on a 25th Amendment strategy being promulgated by some that he be removed. Now, this is based on the intractable opposition, as I said, of the deep state. Dwight Eisenhower called them the military-industrial complex. How can it be that Robert Gates would be a cabinet member and Secretary of Defense for both George Bush and Barack Obama if their policies are so different? Why is, as I said earlier, Guantanamo still open? Why do we have the same people at the second and third levels of the Central Intelligence Agency now that we had under the two previous presidents? No, it's very simple, and I can explain it to you. You see, Hillary Clinton promised these folks an expansion of the proxy war in Syria. I'm sorry, but I see no winners in Syria. Assad propping up Hezbollah and Hamas and being propped up by the Russians is certainly no friend of ours or of human rights.
My friends, let me jump in here and point something out. Hillary Clinton, during the campaign, promised these people in the deep state that if she became president, she would continue these wars in other countries, even if it meant that your children in the service might have their legs blown off or might be killed. Hillary Clinton was willing to sacrifice your children to assure her electoral victory. Roll that around in your mouth for a while.
ISIS, on the other side, propped up by the Saudis, whose involvement in 9/11 was the subject of legislation out to be free, but they're not our friends. You have 100 words of subjects. No, I'm sorry. This is not worth one drop of American blood, not one barrel of American blood. We have seen what happens when
All right, guys, we're going to stop for a break now. You know what? Maybe when we come back, we'll continue this. I'm finding this absolutely fascinating. Everything Stone is saying is true, and he's saying it with penetrating insight. This is the stuff that affects you, and if you don't think it does, then you don't know enough. This affects you, your children, and their future, so I want you to hang out over the commercial break. Come back, more with Roger Stone. This is Riell Truth.
And of his fullness we have all received, and grace for grace. For the law was given through Moses, but grace and truth came through Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus the Christ. No one has seen God at any time. The only begotten Son, who is in the bosom of the Father, he has declared him. The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 16. Article 4. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall be issued but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the places to be searched and the person or thing to be seized. If catastrophe struck, would your family be prepared? Are you confident you wouldn't react in a panic? Is there one place to get all of your emergency supplies? Terrorist Survival encourages you to have confidence through preparation, not panic through crisis. Terrorist Survival, located at 3366 South Broadway, is a professional, reputable, full-service business providing quality, realistic preparedness supplies at an affordable price. Go online, stop by, or call 303-781-0343. Terrorist Survival. American Window Tinting Incorporated, down from Lions Current. Keep an eye on your child while shopping. Children tend to stray or become alone. This poses an opportunity for a would-be abductor, which make every effort to keep track of your little one at all times. If you have information regarding a lost child, call local authorities at once. This message is from American Window Tinting Incorporated in Franklin. For residential or commercial window tinting, call 303-263-4228.
My friends, we're getting an education today. It's a class in How the World Works 101. We're listening to Roger Stone speak to students at the Oxford Union. He's covering a whole range of very, very important things, and I feel guilty for interrupting. Roger, please continue.
Subject.
All right, we're going to stop. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back. What do you think, my friends? Should I spend the last 4 minutes of the show with Roger Stone, or should I do some news? Call in and tell me what you think I should do. We'll be right back.
Beloved, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirit, whether they are of God, because many false prophets have gone into the world. By this you will know the Spirit of God. Every spirit that confesses that Yeshua, Jesus, has come in the flesh is of God. And every spirit that does not confess that Yeshua, Jesus, has come in the flesh is not of God. And this is the spirit of Antichrist, which you have already heard was coming and is now already in the world. 1 John 4:1.
No state shall enter into any treaty, alliance, or confederation, grant letters of marque or reprisal, coin money, emit bills of credit, make anything but gold and silver coin a tender in payment of debt, pass any bill of attainder, ex post facto law, or law impairing the obligation of contracts, or grant any title of nobility. Article 1, Section 10.
Chaplain Collins LLC salutes our emergency first responders for their professionalism, commitment, and bravery. They're willing to put their lives on the line for us with little or no thanks. So let's all take the time to thank our first responders for all they do for us. Also thanking our veterans for the sacrifice they made for our freedom. This message is from Chaplain Collins LLC, with 2 locations in Denver and Fort Collins, serving the community for over 13 years. Visit them online at chapelcollins.com. Piccolo's restaurant in Denver reminds us that over 750,000 children were reported missing last year. Over 58,000 of these were abducted by non-family members. Keep an eye out for youngsters at play, and if you see anything suspicious, contact the authorities immediately. This message from Piccolo's restaurant in Denver is not only the best Italian and Mexican cuisine, it's the people who care. Give them a call at 303-757-5166. 303-757-5166. Piccolo.
All right, my friends, I'll tell you what. Let's finish the show with news. Item from Breitbart. Venezuelan prisoners are eating rats and pigeons as a means of survival as food supplies continue to dissipate in the failed socialist state, according to a report published this weekend. Yes, my friends, that's socialist, as in Bernie Sanders, as in the form of economy that millions of Americans voted for. Millions, that is, of really ignorant, often stupid Americans. Item from the smoking gun. A North Carolina woman is jailed on multiple felony charges after she allegedly opened fire in a movie theater during a dispute over assigned seats at a screening of Black Panther, according to police and court records. Unquote. My friends, I've never liked it when the tallest guy in the theater sat down in front of me, but it's a little insight into where we are as a society when people are willing to pull guns over a seat in a movie theater. You think this might have some little bit of bearing on school shootings? Item. From Reuters, at least 5 people were wounded, several shops and a mosque damaged in a clash between majority Sinhalese Buddhists and minority Muslims in eastern Sri Lanka, police said on Tuesday. Renewed tension has been growing between the two communities since last year, with some hardline Buddhist groups accusing Muslims of forcing people to convert to Islam and vandalizing Buddhist archaeological sites. Unquote. My friends, when did Islam begin forcing people to convert? Oh, that's right. About 14 centuries ago. Item from the Denver Post. Attorneys for the 15-year-old accused of stabbing a Longmont woman to death last year hinted in court Friday that Accutane, an acne treatment drug that some have linked to erratic behavior, may be cited by the defense in explaining the teen's alleged actions. Unquote. My friends, we're living in America in the 21st century. Whatever you do, it's someone else's fault. Item. From the Illinois News Network, a new municipal ID designed primarily for illegal immigrants will be accepted in Chicago as a valid form of identification to register to vote. The city key will be a government-issued photo ID card available to all Chicago residents, regardless of immigration status, criminal record, housing status, or gender identity, according to the city clerk's website. Stop! So if you can be a citizen of a different country, and you're not a citizen of this country, but you can vote in this country's elections, then why are we discriminating against all those people in China and France and Vietnam and North Korea and every other country on the planet? After all, they're not citizens, so why can't they do a write-in vote here in the United States? In fact, let's throw our elections open to every human being. Does that make sense? Well, if you're a liberal, it probably does. Item from Breitbart. Eritrean failed asylum seeker turned murderer Abraham Ukbagabir claims in an interview that he wants to forget his killing of a 55-year-old woman and her 28-year-old son in an IKEA in 2005 because, as he said, quote, blank happens. So now we know why he killed people. Well, these things happen. It's not his fault. I was just talking about this last week, right here on the show. We live in a society in which nothing is our fault. It's always someone else's fault. Good. Keep thinking that way. And they'll be trying to figure out who's responsible for the end of the United States of America. I'll be back tomorrow. Hasta luego.